Today we're going to explain how you can clean up the contact system on a Hammond B3 or C3 organ. If some of your notes aren't playing correctly, then the very first thing that the factory used to recommend is to simply strike the key 15 or 20 times rather hard if you're not getting all the drawbar sounds from one key. Now there could be some serious damage, or there can just be some contact cleaning required. So aside from just playing the organ a little harder than usual to try to clean up the contacts, the next step in the process is to do what's called a bus rod shift. Now we take a long screwdriver, and Gary, I'd like you to do this for us if you would please. Show us how to do a bus rod shift on the upper manual, please.
Okay, on the upper manual, the bus rod shifter is behind this. This is a little transformer. And the bus rod shifter is just behind it, just here. You almost have to get down to look at it. And you put your screwdriver on it. What you want to do is run it all the way to one end. If it's all the way onto one end, run it to the other end. And bring it back about halfway.
Now how about the lower manual, Gary?
Okay. The lower manual bus rod shifter is right here. Right there on the end of the lower manual. And put your screwdriver in it, and it's all the way to the right. So what I'm going to do is run it all the way back to the left. And bring it back to kind of center it out.
Okay, here are some bus rods that have been removed from the keyboards. Gary, could you hold that light up on there for us, please? The bus rods are contact strips. There's 9 of them under each keyboard. Now, if the striking the key doesn't solve the problem for an individual key, then the bus rod shifting is the second step. And if that doesn't work, then the bus rods need to be removed from the organ, cleaned with steel wool carefully. Be careful not to bend them, and this should really be done by a professional. And then they need to be lubricated with a white grease, bus bar lube grease, reinstalled, and in most cases that will clean up key contact problems and one of the major sources for missing tones. If all of that fails, there could be loose wires on the tone generator. There could be loose wires between the keyboards. A lot depends if the pattern is random or consistent. But this video is mainly to explain the process of bus rod shifting. Now this same principle applies on the bass pedals. And there's a similar brass screw at the bass pedals. And Gary, could you just point that out for us, please?
A3, there's a hole right here. Bus rod shifter is in the center
Move
of
the
the
light a
hole.
little. Can you see it okay, Rodney?
The bus rod shifter's in the center of the hole. And it turns the same way as the manual rods.
So it's how many turns to the left and how many turns to the right?
It goes about 10 turns to turn it from one particular direction all the way to the other.
But we're recommending 3 turns in each direction.
Yeah.
Okay. And that concludes this brief tutorial of how to clean or shift the bus rods to get a better contact for so that all the notes will play. And we thank you for your time and attention. Hope this has been helpful. I'm Jim Huss signing off from Keyboard Exchange International, where I'm with Mr. Gary Ettinger and Rodney Huss, Vice President of Keyboard Exchange International.